8:02 now as we check headlines. Finance Minister Joe Ceci stood in the chamber to deliver the 2017 provincial budget on Thursday, and for the third straight time, it is awash in red ink.
The deficit now stands at $10.3 billion. That's down only slightly from last year, and the government is borrowing heavily once again this year. Julia Wong joins us live from the legislature with more.
Good morning, Julia.
Good morning, Aaron and Shay. Huge debt and huge deficits, something that the PCs are not happy about when it comes to Alberta's third budget and under the NDP. Joining me now is Rick McIver, interim leader of the PC party. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here, Julia. Thank you.
I just want to go back in time a little bit. In the late 80s, early 90s, the energy prices, they had taken a drastic fall, and Alberta racked up quite large deficits. That was all under the PCs, and then there was a lot of borrowing then. Yep. So what do you have to say about what the NDP are doing now if it's quite similar to what the PCs were doing not too long ago?
It's not similar at all. When we borrowed money, and we did, we always had a plan to pay it back in a reasonable amount of time. This NDP government has no plan to pay any of it back ever. So one of the big losers of yesterday's government are Alberta's children. Kids that are in elementary school today, 10 or 20 years from now, are going to be paying back for what the NDP spends in 2017, because they're not going to pay penny one of it back during this entire term, and they say next term if they get one.
Now, you talked a lot about how future generations will have to incur this cost. Mm-hmm. Would you have supported raising taxes then so that future generations won't have to have that burden?
No, actually, you don't have to raise taxes. We put out this plan, if you don't mind. It's the balanced budget. You can see it at our website, ABPCMLA, and it shows how we could build the capital projects that the NDP is building. And actually, our capital plan is bigger than the one that they put forward. We would be able to have modest increases to every department at the rate of population growth for the next 4 or 5 years, and still pay down the debt, and where we'd be balance the budget in 2019-20 and have all the Alberta's debt paid off 10 years after that. That's completely different than what the NDP is doing, which is why the budget they put forward yesterday is going to be such a burden on Alberta's children, particularly those in elementary school.
Now, when we talk about operational spending, though, it's the lowest it's been in years, 2.2%. Under the PCs, it was, closer to 7.3. So how can you argue with how they're spending their money if the PCs were spending way more?
Well, actually, they are spending more than we ever did, and that's just a fact. And in fact, what we put forward has annual increases based on population. The problem is they're not spending money on Alberta's priorities, which is something we always did. The kids in elementary school are going to be paying for 2017 light bulbs. And the other biggest thing that is making the NDP's budget not work is the fact that their policies are so anti-jobs, anti-investment, anti-business. They've raised personal income taxes, they've raised corporate taxes, and yet they're getting less corporate tax and less personal tax because they've killed jobs. So in other words, there's less people working, and those that are working under this NDP government more of them are working part-time instead of full-time, and we would restore those business-friendly, job-friendly, investment-friendly policies that we had in place so that the economy could grow to pay for those things, where the NDP's policies are killing jobs, investment, and growth, and that's why there's going to be no opportunities for children compared to what there would be when we were in government, and these are things that we would like to correct starting in 2019.
All right, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have right now, but we very much appreciate you joining us this morning. Chat a little bit about the budget. As you just heard, PC is very critical of what the NDP are proposing in this latest budget. Aaron and Shay?
Okay. Thank you, Julia.
Thanks, Julia.